No sleep, no food, no nothing. As Wolverines, we still walk and believe and go blue. Therefore, what are you gonna do? Bury us now?
You know, it gets to a point it really don't matter. You guys don't know us like you think that you do. Riding on the edge of hate, we stay true because it's go blue, yeah. And let me tell you something right now. Michigan just landed the #1 running back in the nation for the class of 26. The number 17th prospect all around. Savion Hiter out of Virginia. And I'm going to let you know something right now. Wolverines, the cream always rises to the top. And I'm not good.
Yeah, thanks a lot, my guy. But I think I'll take the rest from here. The fuck's wrong with him? Anyway, as my guy reiterated, Macho Man Randy splashing, Michigan, we just landed the #1 running back out of the class of 2026, number 17th ranked nationally, okay, out of Virginia. He was being highly recruited by Tennessee and Ohio State, so that's an ultimate fuck you to them. This means a lot because he's not also the only one from Virginia making the move on up here to Ann Arbor. Shamari Earls, now that name should sound familiar because he's our highly touted cornerback that's going to step in for Will Johnson, okay? He's going to don the #2 for us. He's from Virginia. He was a 5-star player, ended up coming to Michigan. Georgia Bulldogs were on his coattails, but he ended up coming here in the end. Like I said, this guy's from Virginia, so I know he was planting seeds there to get a few other cats there from Virginia. And we got 2 other guys coming. We got Travis Johnson, who was a 4-star receiver out of Virginia. And we also got Andre Clark Jr., 4-star safety, who's from Virginia as well. So that means a lot. Earls came up here, made the jump early to Ann Arbor, came up early to get acclimated with the campus, smell the campus's flowers, so to speak. Anyway, and you know, I want to put an end to all this bullshit right now, all this he cheated shit. I keep going on the internet, and all you sour pusses, he cheated, they cheated, they cheat. What did we cheat, really? What did we cheat? What did we cheat? You know what's funny? I feel like you guys cheated yourself because you didn't explore all options to figure out how to win a game. You're just mad because, you know what, we're champions. You say we got caught with sign stealing and this and that. You know what? Here's a sign that you can steal right there. Sit on that. And, you know, I want to tell you something. All this he cheated shit, it comes from 2 colors, really. Green and red. Wait a minute. I think I see a pattern with that. Yeah, that's what it is. 2 teams that simply can't beat us when it matters the most. Still not going to vacate our 2023 championship. We're still the champions. Harbaugh's already in the fucking league now. So what really is the beef at this point? Sign stealing? Listen, dude, straight to the point. We ain't do nothing, or might have done something that's been going on now for the past 109 years and plus, okay? You're only mad because of the type of program we are. We're prestigious. We always stay true to ourselves, okay? And quite frankly, we're always the underdog somehow. But you know what? We're your favorite team's favorite team. Straight like that. And I'm just going to let you in on a secret, pussy. This is some smoke. You can't walk around. You're just going to have to walk through. Because it's Bryce Underwood season now, pussy. What up, though, everybody? It's Mr. Lights, Camera, Action. I'm Splash and bringing you another episode of Up in Smoke. I am your host. And on this episode today, we're just going to talk about a few games that passed in this previous weekend. in the NFL, along with my hot box. Stick around, you'll see what players I got in the hot box this year, amongst other things, just right before week 1 in the NFL. So I think the first thing we'll get into is this Dolphins and Lions game. Man, we got tail whipped in this one. All right, 24-17. Now, the one takeaway I got out of this game for us Lions, other than Isaac Tesla scoring a touchdown, he's going to have big production here for us this year, and I can't wait. But it's Jackson Meeks. Meeks, a wide receiver out of Syracuse. He was over there with Kyle McCord throwing him the pill. McCord, he was the former transfer from Ohio State. Played his last year at Syracuse, and I guess they went off, man. This guy here, I watched his highlights. He was making plays, and it appears he's doing that for us here in Detroit. Meeks had 2 touchdowns, over 7-8 catches, about 100 yards. That's the type of productivity I like to see. This is the type of productivity you wanted to see off of a former Lion, Quintez Cephas. I was high on that guy. I thought he had a big ceiling. He just didn't pan out. Hopefully Meeks pans out for us. I hope he can make this 53-man roster, continue to stay healthy and stay balling, my man. Now, the takeaway from the Dolphins, I got 3 of them. Okay, the one takeaway, Quinn Ewers. That name should sound familiar. He was the quarterback over there at Texas, in the Arch Manning craze. Are they going to start this guy? Are they going to play? When are they going to play Manning? You know what? They went with the best quarterback at that time that was available, and that was Ewers. Don't rush Arch Manning on the field. So Ewers, and I don't know if a lot of you know this, he came from Ohio State. That motherfucker was over there rocking that pompadour. He had that fucking mullet or whatever the fuck that was. Looked like a fucking raccoon on his head. But he was over there, Ohio State, ends up transferring, finished his ball in Texas. He got drafted in the 7th round to the Dolphins. So now his first go out in the NFL wasn't a good one. He didn't start off on the right foot, but you know what? The next game he came out and he just let it all hang out. You know what I mean? And that's the type of mentality you want to see as players. And you players know what I'm talking about. It's a dog mentality. Can you forget about the fucking last play that just happened and focus on your keys and your execution on the next play? Okay, Quinn Ewers shows that. So the other guy I'm looking at was Theo Wees Jr. That name should sound familiar and ring a bell. He's a wide receiver. He played in Missouri over there with Luther Burden in that vertical attack offense over there. They both had success over there. Theo Wees, when undrafted, ends up in Miami, scores 2 touchdowns in this one, and I hope he makes this roster too for them. Because Miami, who do they really got at receiver besides Tyreek Hill and Waddle? You need somebody else. So I think this guy, he's a pretty big target. And obviously, he shows that he can hit pay dirt. So my other key for the Dolphins in that game was Ollie Gordon. Gordon was a running back in the 6th round. He got drafted. Okay. And this guy, he's going to have a big workload for the Dolphins this year. You can't always rely on Devon Achane. That guy's always injured somehow. It's either his toenail or it's fucking his ankle twisted or something. Now, the guy's a freak athlete, but I think he also needs a handcuff, kind of like how we got here with Gibbs and Montgomery. I'll wrap that up by saying the Lions play their final preseason game this weekend against the Houston Texans this Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Once again, the Lions play their final preseason game against the Houston Texans, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And we get into this other game here. We had the Bills at the Bears. Man, this wasn't much of a game. Bears won 38-0. Fucking goose egg. A couple takeaways I got out of this game for the Bears. Caleb Williams, it appears you put that fucking nail polish down, homie. Okay, and then you change that in exchange for your playbook. Okay, because it appears you were picking apart that fucking piss-poor defense, that secondary of Buffalo. You went 5 for 6, 97 yards and a touchdown. Now, another takeaway I got from that, Colson Loveland. Bears number 10th pick in the first round out of Michigan, them boys in blue. Okay, Colson Loveland, he comes to the Bears. Got drafted as a tight end early. Like I said, you don't see tight ends getting drafted early like that, you know. And it's kind of scary. The last one that was Kyle Pitts. Armpits, because they stink, all right? But to Kyle's defense, I think he's going to have a resurgence there this year with Atlanta. And I'm banking on you. I'm throwing all money in on you this year, Kyle, because I know you're going to get the job done. And I know Colston Loveland's going to get the job done there, too, for them guys in Chicago. He's going to be featured heavy. Think about Colston Loveland's game. Travis Kelce for KC. That's what you're going to see here out of Colston Loveland with the Chicago Bears. Another takeaway I got out of this game, Badgett was the other quarterback there. He had limited playing time. Caleb Williams, number 1 pick. Now he's going to ride the pine. You know, and it's funny because if Badgett wasn't on this team, he could probably start for maybe 2 or 3 other teams in the NFL. But, you know, you got Caleb Williams sitting there at number 1. He's going to be the number 2 there. All I'm saying, he's a great backup. You know, Pro Football ranked him 30th backup in the league. I don't really see it. I watched the guy. He's very mobile in the pocket. He can get out of them scrams. You know what I mean? Make the quick throw. And since he's been with the Bears, he's showed nothing but progression. Now, when it comes to the Bills, you don't even have a clue. You better find Blue. You know, blew that defense up because it sucks. All right? And I just want to let you know something. You're going to need a lot more than DeMar Hamlin to fucking stop something. Okay? Because, listen, do not, and I repeat, do not put any type of coin on Buffalo this year because, quite frankly, they ain't winning dick. All right? And they ain't going to do shit either. They're going to get to the playoffs, end up laying an egg, okay, like they always fucking do. So if you value your coin, do not put it on Buffalo to go all the way because they're not doing it. They got picked apart all night. I mean, fuck, you can't put a 3 on the board at least? I can't see what your kicker looks like? I mean, to get beat 38-0, motherfucker. This next game we're going to talk about real quick, and this was the last one, the most recent. This is the Bengals at Commanders, okay? Bengals, they ended up winning 31-17. Now, if you watch this game early, it looked like it was going back and forth. It was like a fucking tennis match, okay? Or an argument with your baby mama or your bitch. You know, that back and forth shit. It's what it looked like here for a minute before it started to get out of hand. Now, a couple names that stuck out to me in this one, well, one for the Commanders is Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, who wants to be known now as Bill Krosky Merritt, out of Arizona. Had a touchdown in this one, few rushing yards on the ground, and the kid was electric, okay? I watched the run. He hit the outside and turned on the afterburners because he was gone, okay? I think this guy's going to come in right from the jump, have a lot of production for Washington because now you got Brian Robinson on the trade block. Robinson Jr., the running back out of Alabama, who's, you know what, he's going to be highly touted here pretty soon. You're going to see him on another team here pretty soon, mark my words. And I hope it's the Raiders. Anyways, another name that I was looking at in this one that really stuck out to me was Mitchell Tinsley, okay? This guy here, man, I watched a couple of them touchdowns because he had 2 of them, and on them catches, dude. And let me just tell you a little tidbit on this Tinsley cat. You know, Tinsley went undrafted, and he started at Washington. You know, I think that they could use a guy like this now, you know, with this Terry McLaurin drama and nonsense. What are they going to do with this guy? Well, this guy made plays last night, and he stood out. And he's the reason why the Bengals end up scratching and clawing to get the victory in this one. We get into this next segment here called the Hot Box. Now, how I came up with this segment, I was doing a little bit of homework of my own as I was scrolling. I see Cam Newton did like his top 5 or whatever it was. So I figured, you know what? Well, I do my own little spin-off and get my own little rendition. The Hot Box, okay? Now, this is just the players that I feel going into the season, they're on the hot seat, okay? Now, this could be for good reason or for bad, okay? Now, we'll start off by saying, one, Joe Flacco is now deemed the starting quarterback there in Cleveland. Hey, congratulations, Joe. They went with what's the best move. You're the best guy in that room right now, and you're also the most decorated. So I think it's safe to say that they went with the right choice, smart choice. Now, I know I'm comparing two things that's real life and one was movie-wise, okay, if you catch my drift, okay? I'm not saying Joe Flacco's gonna finish in Cleveland, and I'm also saying he might not last, okay? If he goes down, I think you're gonna see a classic spinoff here of Any Given Sunday. You know, when Dennis Quaid went down there, the older quarterback, the veteran still demanded respect. And then on the other side, you got Steamin' Willie Beeman, you know, flamboyant, gold chains, you know, the swagger, the sauce dripping, oozing. Smells like Shedeur, don't it? You know, somebody who they say is cocky, yet confident. You know, might be full of himself, but you know what? He's sure of himself, okay? God forbid Flacco goes down. I think you might see Shedeur Sanders in there, and might be sooner than what we think, because really, how long is Flacco going to go anyway? Let's be fucking for real. The guy's about 45 fucking years old, all right? How long are you going to do this, Joe? Okay? And I'm telling you this right now, if and when Shedeur does step in this season for Cleveland or any other team, quite frankly, from here on out, his career is going to take off. Now, sure, he's going to have some growing pains. I mean, after all, he's human. Now, with him going through his growing pains and getting used to, it's going to take some time for us to get used to him as well. And when he starts popping his shit, God forbid, because all I got to say is it's perfect timing, pussy. Now, my next guy that's in the hot box ain't for all the right reasons, as opposed to all the wrong. Hendon Hooker. You know, Hendon, well, what does your job say? You know, the typical 9 to 5. Hey there, you know, Timmy, we're going to have to go in a different direction. It ain't no different here. You know, since you've been here, you know, your body language shows you don't even want to be here. You know, I'm rooting for you. All the fans are rooting for you. You know, every pass you throw, I gasp, okay? Because you couldn't even hit the water if you fell out of a fucking boat. All right? I'm sorry, homie. You know, and I got a lot of love for you, Hendon. I've watched you since Tennessee. You know, I watched you throw that 5-touchdown game to my other guy, Jalen Hyatt, against Bama. You know, we draft you. I wanted to see some development. You haven't shown me a lick of spit. All right? And quite frankly, that's smoked out. That's why you're in the hot box. Enjoy. Now, my other guy that's in the hot box, I wouldn't say for all the right reasons either, but I'm banking on him this year, okay? Good old Trevor Lawerence, or should I say Jacksonville Jesus is what I like to call him. I'm hashtagging that, okay? How do these numbers sound? 5 years, $275 million, one playoff victory under his belt, and in that game, he came back from a 27-point deficit, which stands as the third largest comeback in playoffs history for the NFL. Okay? How does 0 divisions won sound? Okay? Now, you're the highest paid quarterback in the league, Trevor. Okay? Since you've been in the league, that's the bad thing about it. You came in the league as a number 1 pick. You get the keys to a rusty piece of shit. And they tell you, make it good again. Jacksonville, never get over the hump. This year, there's no excuse. Because you got arguably the best player in the draft. Mr. Swiss Army knife himself, Travis Hunter. So there's no excuse. You got Brian Thomas there. I like to call him Baby Julio, okay, because that guy's a freak, okay? What he can do on the field, unbelievable. He had a good rookie season last year with all them in the pool with all them receivers there. So, listen, Jacksonville, you know what? All your guys are healthy. Jordan Lewis is over there, my Michigan guy. You know what I mean? What else you want? Travis Etienne. You still got Walker over there, the defensive end. So, I mean, come on. You got the defensive end, Hines Allen over there. You guys got a squad. It's time to start putting it together. And your play has been porous since you've been in the league, dude. And you're a champion. You were supposed to be this fucking, like I said, Jacksonville Jesus. You got the fucking hair. You got the flow. Why don't you have the fucking wins now to back it up? All right? You don't get paid the highest pay like you do. You know what? To fucking squat and take a piece of shit. Now, this other guy got in the hot box this year. He's in the hot box for all the right reasons. Calvin Ridley. That's it. Calvin Ridley, you're in the hot box and you ain't got to worry, okay? Because I got sativa. This is uplifting. You know, now, Ridley, you got Cam Ward at the helm at quarterback, and I felt sorry for you last year. You know, you had to deal with that Mason Rudolph bull jive. That nigga had to deal with Mason Rudolph. How the fuck do you do it? How the fuck do you do that? You go for Mason Rudolph, then you had that bullshit ass Will Levis. Fucking debacle. You know, that guy was too busy worried about making fucking mayonnaise sandwiches. You know, that guy was too busy eating mayonnaise sandwiches and hitting curls for the girls. Now, as a quarterback, he's got tremendous physique. You know what he needs? A tremendous mindset, okay, and mentality at that quarterback position. And all jokes aside, you ain't got that, Will Levis. Now, you're going to be out for a significant time this year, but move over. There's a hurricane coming through. And his name is Cam Ward. And with Cam Ward under center, Calvin Ridley, get ready to tear it up this season, baby. Now, you know what? This truck is filled, all right? But right before we get out of here, my last guy that's in the hot box for today, and this is for all the right reasons, Emeka Egbuka. You know, Egbuka was the wide receiver that was taken late in the first round by Tampa Bay out of Ohio State. I'm going to give you a tidbit on this guy. You know, at Ohio State, he's #1 career in receptions. And that's saying a lot. That's colossal because there's a lot of guys that went to Ohio State at receiver position that tore it up. And this guy stands out amongst them all like that. That's saying a lot. And he's going to do even more of that for Tampa Bay. You know, when he came into the league, I said, now I'm not comparing, but I'm comparing in a way. I said, this guy's going to be like a St. Brown 2.0. Now, I know what you're going to say. You know what, motherfucker? Why don't this motherfucker relax? No, you relax, you motherfucker. Okay? What I'm saying is the similar success St. Brown had when he first came in with Detroit, eating up all them catches and all them yards. Okay? Same ordeal with this guy here in Tampa Bay. He's going to do the same. He's going to be playing third receiver now. He's going to get a lot more opportunity with Jalen McMillan down with a neck injury, who's going to be out significant time. Chris Godwin over there now, coming back healthy. Mike Evans, chasing Jerry Rice's record for most receiving yards consecutively with 1,000. He's going to get 14 this year. Emeka Egbuka is going to get a lot of opportunity. I told you, this truck is filled. We ain't got to worry, Egbuka. This is sativa, uplifting. Now, before we get out of here, I want to say again that the Lions play the Houston Texans this Saturday at home, 1 o'clock Eastern time. The Lions play the Houston Texans at home this Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Now, I know I brought his name up in the last couple days, and it's unfortunate, but Ahmad Hassanin has went down with a pec injury yesterday, and he's going to be out for some significant time. All I can say is, man, you know what? Speedy recovery for one. You were somebody, Hassanin, and I knew was going to come in. You weren't going to start right away. You were somebody going to come in, add depth, fill out our special teams, and find your way on our defense eventually. So that's unfortunate you went down. And I'm going to let you bitches in on a little secret. You know, I get it. This is kind of a Detroit-based, Lion-centric type of podcast I got going on. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm also a Raiders fan at heart. That's right. I bleed black and silver. Okay? It's one of them 1A type of deals with me, with the Lions and Raiders. And then the rest of the teams follow behind. Okay? Now, the Raiders, they play this Saturday away. They play the Arizona Cardinals, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm going to be tuned into that. And I also like what the Raiders have been doing this year in the off season. We got Ashton Jennings, who I felt is not arguably, but is the best running back in the draft and was top 5 player. We ended up getting him. We got the top 5 player in the last year's draft, Brock Bowers. We ended up getting him. You've seen his production this past year. He set NFL records as a rookie. So I'm very excited for that. It's one of them things, move over, Kelsey, move over, Kittle, you know, because you got these new guys coming up, Trey McBride, you know, Sam Laporta, these tight ends coming up in the game now, you know, so, and I want to let you guys know one more thing. 75% of teams' production comes from players that's 25 years or younger. Do you know that? So that, what does that tell you? That this is a young man's league now. So I just wanted to add that in there. As we get out of here, you know, the new Madden came out this past week, Madden 26. You can get at me. I'll drop my PlayStation handle in the video or in the comments here, and we can get at it. I like to play Madden, GTA, NCAA, and 2K. You know, I might come out of retirement of that. I was the best point guard. Okay, straight, simple like that. You can ask about me. Okay, and when it comes to Madden, I'm still the king. Still the king. And if you want to talk your shit, I still got receipts. I still got receipts in my handy dandy notebook. All the guys, all my fucking tombstones I took down in the game that wanted to pop off like they were about it. And I got dates to back them up. So if you want to get into that, y'all know who y'all are. I appreciate y'all here today, man. Much respect. All I ask is that you just continue to navigate through the smoke with me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You know what that is. You know what this is. Up in smoke. Pussy.